Well, hey there. Good afternoon. It is another beautiful day here in the Merrimack Valley, and it's pretty hot out today. Actually, it's about 90 degrees out. It's really been hot, and last few days it's not been that hot, so I haven't watered or put as much water on my garden. But this morning I got up early and I was watering my garden pretty early, about 5:30 this morning. So it did get a good watering before it got so hot out. But all of my Jerusalem artichokes are doing well. I've got carrots planted. Those are just starting to come up above the ground. And I'm keeping my flowers pruned up a little bit so they're rebudding over and over again. I still have peppers coming in. So I have plenty of herbs still coming in. So I've been drying herbs like crazy. All kinds of herbs. So I've been a little bit busy besides work and some other things. So please forgive me. It's been a few days since I put out a video. But today, we're going to be making an old recipe that belonged to my mother, and well, my grandmother actually gave it to her. But it really doesn't have a name of sorts. It just is called Makes Two Very Good Coffee Cakes. And so it's just a basic recipe, and I think you'll enjoy it. So we're gonna make that. I've already got my pans. I used some Crisco on here and greased them up good and floured them. I've got two of them because it is gonna make two very good coffee cakes, and they will freeze well if you package them correctly, you know, with some plastic wrap, you know, maybe a couple layers of plastic wrap. They do freeze well. So we're going to make those today since it's so hot, and I can't really get outside to do anything till much later. So we're just going to do a little bit baking. It's nice and cool inside, so we're just going to do that, and you know, like I said, we'll have a good time doing it. So I'll be back in just a minute. Okay, so we're going to get this recipe started. I've got my mixing bowl. I've got my my cups, my measuring cups, my measuring spoons. I've got my cutter because we're going to be cutting some of this Crisco in, shortening in. Got my cinnamon. And I got some sugar over here. And in the refrigerator, I've got 2 cups of buttermilk. So that's going to be added in just here in a little bit. We're also going to be adding some salt and some baking soda to this recipe. So, and I'll put the recipe in the description box below for you. And we can basically you can basically get the recipe off of there if I go too fast. So what we're going to start out with is 4 cups of just all-purpose flour. So let's do that. That's 3. it's for. All right, so we're going to set that aside. And oh, I just make a mess all the time when I am baking. Wipe that up a little bit more. Okay. All right, and then we're going to do 2 cups of sugar. Now this is a 1/2 cup, so I'm just going to do 4 of these. So we're going to do 1 and 2. All right. We're going to do a 1/2 cup of shortening. So let's get our 1/2 cup here. I like to take them off the little thing there. It does not make any difference which shortening you use. I just happen to be partial to this one. If you have others in your house that you use, or you know, whatever you want to use as far as shortening. Use lard in it too. Get that off of there. Okay. And then we're going to have 1½ teaspoons of cinnamon. That's about 1½ right there. Okay, looking pretty good so far. All right, so now we're just going to take our little pastry cutter. We're going to kind of cut this in a little bit. Just kind of want to keep that going, and every once in a while just kind of raise it up and do that. Knock off that flour and all that. So it's actually kind of looking like little fine, teeny tiny peas, or little crumbs. Okay. Now, I would like to take this and just kind of make sure we've got, take a spoon and just kind of make sure it's all, don't have to be perfectly cut in, but just so it's mostly cut in. You got some little fine particles in there. See, you get little fine particles of the shortening. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to take a half cup of this out of here and we're going to reserve it. So just a little bit more. Okay, so we're just gonna set that aside. All right. Okay, that's looking pretty good there. Now we're gonna have to do a half a teaspoon of salt. Let's see here. My half teaspoon. And you know, the good thing about this, you can just do it all in one bowl. It's a one bowl coffee cake recipe. We're going to do 2 teaspoons of soda. And to that, we're going to do a little mixing here. We'll work that in. I was thinking maybe taking one of these to church Sunday. All right, so now what we're going to do is get our buttermilk, and I need to get that out of the refrigerator. So I will get that out of the refrigerator, and we'll add this to our mix. All right, so we have our cold buttermilk out of the refrigerator. And we're going to pour that all in. And then we're going to mix it all up. And this buttermilk is going to make it so nice. It'll have that little slight tang to it, maybe. Now I remember my mother used to make these, and she would drizzle, when they were cooled down, she'd drizzle a little bit of confectionery icing over the top of them, and it was so good. And like I said, this is a recipe that has come from my family. Okay. It's very easy. There's no egg to it. It's just going to be 2 very good coffee cakes. Okay. So I think we've got all of that. Okay, now we're going to take half of this batter and we're going to pour it in our pan. Just going to kind of even it out a little bit. Grab my other pan here. You know, it's good to have these because you get up in the mornings and, you know, if you're wanting something just to have with your cup of coffee or your cup of tea, this would be it. And get all that off of there. Okay. And yes, I did wash my hands before baking. Okay, so these are ready to go into the oven. They're going to go in a 350-degree oven for 30 minutes. All right, so we're going to let those cook, and then when they're done, I'll pull them out and let them cool down a bit. Actually, you know something, I did forget one thing with these, and we just need to do it real quick because we don't want to leave this stuff out. We're going to put our topping over it, and I'm just going to do it right here. And it don't have to be perfect either. It's just like a little crumbly, good topping. Very cinnamony and delicious. Okay, we're done with that. It's ready to go. All right, so we will be back here in just a few minutes after they're done, and we'll see what they look like. Well, it's been 30 minutes, and then I've cooled our coffee cakes for about another 30 minutes. And I think they turned out really lovely. Now I have this one still in the pan. I haven't taken it out yet, but look at that. Very crumbly. It's got a nice little bit of cinnamon and some sugar and topping there. I will be taking that out. But this one here, I just put on a plate. We're going to try a little piece of it. I'm just going to take a little piece off of it because it's still a little bit warm. Here we go. I'll cut it. We're gonna eat a little bit of that and see what it tastes like. Okay, so we are going to try a little bit of this. I cut it. You can taste the cinnamon and the sugar. It's really moist. And that's what that buttermilk did to it. Made it really moist. This is a very good, simple coffee cake recipe. And it would go great with your coffee in the morning or your hot tea, whatever you drink. But this is something that you definitely want to make and try out. It's very simple. It's just one bowl recipe. And like I said, I'll have that in the description box below. So if you like my videos, please take time to subscribe down below and then share them and give me a thumbs up or a like. That helps me tremendously. And you can leave comments. I'll have my email down below if you have any questions or concerns or issues with any of the recipes. But this one's pretty straightforward, so you should have no problem with it. So basically, we're going to let you all go for now. It's still hot out. I'm not going to go out just yet, but we'll probably go out in a little bit and tend to a few things out in the garden, as we still have some things that are still growing, and we need to harvest a few things. Cherry tomatoes are just going wild, so we've been really blessed. So until the next time, you have a great day, great cooking, and as always, please don't let your heart be troubled.